Sitting in a classroom listening to a boring teacher go on and on about the importance of good grades and attendance made me want to gag. After all, I had already proven that I was smarter than they were. I'd gotten away with skipping school for 2 years. I still can't quite figure that out, but I did. Now I had to sit in this room and then the next class and the next until I could finally go home. That lasted about a month. I'd go for 3 to 4 days a week and then skip the next week. Then a second letter came. Unfortunately for me, it came on a day when I had actually gone to school, but my mother had the day off. When I got home from school, she was livid. I had never seen my mother so angry. "Farrow," she said, "I got this letter today, but I don't understand what it means. Could you explain it to me?" She handed me the letter. As soon as I saw it from the school, I knew I was in trouble. I read the letter and it detailed my truancy history and explained that since the last letter had been ignored, the matter was being sent to court. "A letter from the court will be delivered to your current address within the next 7 days, the letter stated. I don't know what they're talking about. I started to lie, but before I could finish saying anything, my mother had grabbed me by the throat with one hand and dared me to lie. She snatched the letter out of my hand with her free hand and shook it in my face. She was so angry, spittle showered me with every word. "Don't you lie to me," she warned. "I called the school and asked them about your attendance. The attendance officer said they had been trying to call me and had sent out a number of letters to let me know what was going on. They thought I had signed excuses for your absences. I told them I thought you were in school every day. What the hell is going on with you?" Her tone was ominous, deep and low, like the rumbling of a faraway storm. You knew by the sound that it was not going to let up any time soon. "Mama, they made a mistake. It wasn't me. I've been in school," I cried, scared to death by the grip she had on my throat. She let me go and I stood there gagging, trying to get some air into my lungs. She turned away just for a second and I didn't see it coming. Before I knew it, I was lying in the floor and she was sitting on top of me, punching and punching me in the face and the stomach anywhere she could land one. I didn't know my mother was that strong and there was nothing I could do. She had me pinned to the floor. After what seemed like an hour but had only been minutes, she stopped. Breathing heavily and tired, she slowly got up and sat down in the nearest chair. I was laying on the floor crying, but the tears were sliding down her face and she bent over and put her head in her lap sobbing. I was too scared to move because I didn't know what she could do next. After about 10 minutes of our crying, she sat up suddenly and I prepared myself for the blows I just knew were about to come. She looked at me and shook her head, got up and went into the kitchen and poured herself a glass of water. I waited. "Farrow," she said tensely, barely above a whisper. "This is not acceptable behavior if you plan to live here. I have your brother and sister to think about. I've checked with their school and they have been to school. If this is the kind of example you plan to set for them, you won't be living here. Do I make myself clear?" "Do I?" she repeated when it took me too long to answer. "Yes, ma'am," I gulped.